Today, y'all. Oh, actually, I just want to check in. Did we do the homework? I hope you guys did start your thing, and if you for some reason did not, or you procrastinated, or whatever it may be, it's okay. It's okay. You have this week. Try it again. Get up and try again. Don't just be upset that you didn't do it and then never started. You know what I'm saying? Like, try it again. So, with that being said, and I forgot to introduce myself. Wow. Let Me Speak podcast. Here we are. Gang, gang. What's goody, fam bam? A podcast to where we talk about my experiences and the things I've been through in life and just growth and spiritual things, loving things, healing things, all the things to help better your life. And I just take from my experiences and what I've grown through and learned, and I just share them with you guys in case you guys are going through the same thing or similar things and just need that voice to help push and motivate you and show you guys that you're not alone. Today we're talking about forgiveness. So, like I said, if you did not accomplish last week, the things you were supposed to do, forgive yourself. You can't change it. Move on, move forward, try again this week. Forgiveness is really one of the things that I have struggled with, but it's also helped me in the areas that I have been able to finally forgive certain situations, certain people. But it's not an easy step to take, but it's definitely worth doing in your healing journey. And it's necessary. It is so necessary. Like, I really feel like you can't move on. You can't progress forward without forgiving whatever it is that might be holding you back or stuck in your head, because you might not realize it, but having the situation or whatever it may be stuck in your head just randomly popping back up, it's holding you back from your greater good and what you're really supposed to be doing. It's definitely, like I said, it's not easy. It's not just, oh, I forgive you, boom bam pow. No, like, you might have to say it a few times, and then first of all, you won't have to think it before you say it out loud, because it's not going to be easy for you to say out loud. For a lot of people, for some people, you might not feel like the person, if it's about a person or even yourself, is not worth forgiving because of how messed up they've done you or you've done yourself, or how messed up the situation is. But in all reality, like, when it comes to another person, forgiving them is not about them. That's one thing I've definitely learned, and it's all about you. You forgiving that person is not saying what they did was okay, and it doesn't justify what they did. Forgiving them is like putting an ends to holding a grudge, or putting an ends to allowing it to hurt you and allowing it to define you. And it takes being really strong and really committed to bettering yourself to be able to do so, and really understanding that everybody's perspective is different, that everybody's life is different. So no matter what the situation is, because I know of a lot of people that has a lot of different situations, and some they're willing to forgive, and some they're just like, they don't deserve that. They're really stuck in that mentality of it being about them, you forgiving them for them. It's really just all about you and allowing yourself to move on from the situation. And I'm going to go ahead and share like two viewpoints from my life, just to explain how, like, why I believe that it's so important, so essential. One being me having to forgive my stepbrother, and and his girlfriend. We were living together, we were roommates, and he said something that really, it really made me unclaim him as my brother, And I still stand by that because no family of mine, no true sibling that loves me would ever say this. Like me and my one of my older brothers, we definitely have gotten into a few spats, and he would never say what he said to me. But my stepbrother, we got into this argument, and it wasn't even really that serious. And he was like, "Nobody wants you here." And he said something else, but that was the main thing. It was just like, nobody even wants you here. But one of the things growing up is I always felt like I was unwanted, and I was a black sheep, and I wasn't included, and they didn't like. I don't know. I was just I felt like unimportant when it came to being in any group, family, friends, whatever. And so when he said that, it was like, wow, like you stooped low. But I've learned that I had to forgive him because that thing kept replaying in my head, like randomly, like 6 months later, and it still just would pop up in my head. And even like how they treat him and his girlfriend treated me, and um, the things that they've said to me, and just how they went about things. I had to really forgive the situation that happened because it wasn't doing me any good. And I really think that like forgiving the situation and forgiving them is coming to means with understanding, like deeply understanding that, bro, they're completely different people. They have their own viewpoints. And what they're saying to me and how they're reacting towards me has nothing to do about me, and everything to do about how they feel about themselves and how they view themselves. Granted, it hit something deep or whatever because I felt that way growing up, but he didn't say that because that's how I felt. He said that because that's how he feels deep down inside. So it's kind of like one of those things like, bro, I forgive you. I forgive you. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna, accept you back in with open arms, like everything's fine. Like we're buddy buddy now. No, I never said you have to do that. But it's more in just understanding, like, bro, we're just two different people. And you just decided to take your hurt out and your pain and your inner issues out on me. Same with his girlfriend, you know, because I always try to make it work. Yeah, I didn't always react in an ideal way, but at the end of the day, the things that occurred were not my fault. And I will stand on that because if something's my fault, I will stand up to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sit there and be like, yeah, it was like, I caused this. This was my problem. But that's a whole different story. So that's kind of like one of the examples of just having to forgive. And it was not easy. And I'm still working on forgiving because sometimes it does pop up. But at the end of the day, I'm a lot farther than I was when it comes to that situation. And then another form of forgiveness is really just forgiving yourself for whatever you might have done, whatever you might have said, and how you've acted. Like, I've done some things growing up, said some things growing up. I, had so many intrusive thoughts growing up. And I really had to learn to forgive myself because, once again, that comes from an understanding of that is the past me or that's not me. Like, if you have intrusive thoughts, you have to realize like that's not who you are. That can really be a difficult thing to understand and to really truly believe. Even saying some things growing up and some doing whatever actions you've done growing up, forgive that. Because one, it's already done. You can't change what you did. You cannot change what you said. What really matters is the actions that you take. Now, are you acting upon what you've done or what you've said, or are you acting upon those intrusive thoughts? No. Okay. Are you actively trying to better your mental state? Are you actively trying to change the narrative from, you know, how you feel like your life was going? Have you forgiven your past self for doing those things that led you to certain situations that you may be in now, or whether it's like physically or mentally or emotionally? And realize that like each day is a new day. Each day is a new you. You have a new opportunity, a new chance. You cannot change what you did yesterday. All you can do is change what you do, like act accordingly and act differently the day of, in the present day. Realize that your thoughts are from past experiences and things that you've been, what is it, like attuned to, like things that you've been exposed to. Because without realizing it, there's some things that can really jack up your mental state growing up. And you do a lot of things growing up without thinking half the time, and that fucks up your mental. You have to really be gentle with yourself and understand like that's not who you are. Your thoughts are not who you are, or your intrusive thoughts are not who you are, because you truly know who you are, who you want to be. That's kind of just what I wanted to express to you guys. Like, yeah, forgive yourself, forgive other people. Don't take things personally, even from yourself. Don't claim your past. Don't claim your experiences that, your bad experience. Don't claim those negative thoughts, because that's not you at all. Okay? Be gentle with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. It's all going to work out, but you have to actively be doing those things. Actively forgiving, actively changing your mindset, actively, doing the work to grow, actively doing the work to heal trauma, actively doing the work to channel who you truly are and who you truly want to become for the better. And once you get into that and continue to do that, child, I'm not saying it's like certain things will probably pop up here and there, but you'll know how to act accordingly. And that's the podcast. I guess that's how I'm going to end it. I really hope I explained everything properly. I mean, I'm just blabbering away, chatting away. Homework time. You already know what I'm going to say. You already know what I'm going to say. If there's somebody that's done you wrong, forgive them. You can start by saying it in your head. You can start by saying it out loud. You can even send a text to something that I read. Like, just send them a text, even if it's something from years ago. And they're gonna respond. Like, if they respond, it's not gonna be how you want them to respond. But don't respond to the response. You did it for you. You don't have to even tell them that you did it for you. You did it for you. Let it be. If they write back a message, especially if it's one that's just like, what do you mean? I didn't do that. Just delete it. Just delete it. Because we're not inviting negative energy. We're just forgiving and letting go of that negativity, that blockage. And if it's something you need to forgive in yourself, write it in a journal what it is that you're forgiving yourself for. Say it out loud. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I forgive you. Why do you forgive you? What do you forgive yourself for? How are you going to move forward? Speak to yourself gently. That's your homework. Choose one of those options and then choose the one of the options from the options. Okay? I hope you guys take this week to really work on yourselves. Dig deep. If you got to cry it out, cry it out. It's going to be tough. It's always tough. It's still tough for me. I'm still working on things. Trust me. I'm still working on things. Those feelings, those emotions, Feel them and let them go. Your past, your situations, those intrusive thoughts, the grudges, the blockages. Forgive them. Understand where they stem from. Understand that it's really not about you. Don't take it personal. You're meant to be here for love and to experience joy and experience beautiful things. There are just some things that got in the way of that. And it's going to happen. It's happened to everybody. I love you. I'm going to finish eating my food before it gets way too cold and I have to heat it up again because then my veggies are going to be like weird textured. So have an amazing week. Chat it up with you next week. Peace, love, prosperity. Gang, gang. Yeah. Oh, you can't even see that. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast and really listening to my experiences, my life, and what I've learned from it, and taking what you guys can from it and applying it to your life and your situations. Remember, everybody's experience is different, so only take what you can, take what resonates with you. And I am excited to be here next week and speak on something new, something fresh, and hopefully you guys are as well. Feel free to rate this podcast, leave a review, a comment, a like, whatever area you're listening or watching this on. It really helps boost it so others just like us can find the podcast and learn and grow as well. Until next time, love y'all. Peace, love, prosperity, gang, gang. All right. Bye.